we could potentially have stones, right? We could have high levels of estrogens causing bile flow to be more stagnant or kind of dudgy, if you will, and that can create stones. So if you're a female, you're on birth control pills, you have high levels of estrogen or insulin, guys could be too, but you see it more with women, that can create that flow issue and that can create stones. People that are on low calorie diets or low fat diets, right? You need bile, you need fat to trigger cholecystokinin, which is a neuropeptide released in the small intestine. That triggers the gallbladder to release. So if we do not have enough good, healthy fat in our diet, we will not trigger that gallbladder to release and squeeze. And if we don't squeeze it, essentially that bile salt can crystallize and form stones. It's very possible. So we have to wring out that gallbladder so we can actually release that bile, which is now concentrated. That will help now emulsify the fat. We got to look at food allergens. Sometimes I see certain food allergens in the paleo community, like pork, like coffee, onions, some even meats could potentially be an issue. So we have to keep an eye on that. There's certain diets, certain foods that we will restrict. We'll put my article here from a couple of years back on a blog post about the different foods, and you can take a look at that article. We'll put that down below in the notes section by tomorrow. You guys will have it up there. So take a look at that. Hydrochloric acid is very important. We talk about like bile or giving bile supporting nutrients. Like bile supporting nutrients would be like phosphatidylcholine, taurine, ox bile itself. We may give things to help with bile secretion and flow, like dandelion or beetroot, right? Artichoke. These are really good for flow. So it's good to do both because you don't know if there's a stone. So sometimes you want to hit it from both sides. You may also want to give more enzymes like protease, which will help more on the fat, but lipase to help the bile. So you don't need as much bile to work on the digestive side. And the big trigger for bile production is hydrochloric acid. We need good acid that triggers the pH. That nice pH activates pepsinogen to pepsin. That's your major proteolytic enzyme. That nice low pH is going to trigger cholecystokinin release when that food gets all that mixed up chyme goes from the stomach to the small intestine. That cholecystokinin causes that gallbladder to contract and wring out like a sponge that's full of water. And then you get this bile that's 15 to 20 times more concentrated than if it was just dripping from your common hepatic duct. So really important. It's easy to get overwhelmed or to think, oh my gosh, I have this crazy issue and I have to do this crazy protocol. Always start with the foundation. That's so easy to kind of move past that and forget it and get really into the granularity, into the nuance of everything. So hope you guys appreciate that. Again, products that I'm going to use, HCl, I'm going to use bile support and bile thinning agents. We're going to use enzymes too. We're definitely going to look at bugs because bugs can impact and create stress in the gut, which then can make your parasympathetic nervous system drop. And then you make less enzymes, less juices, less bile as well. So keep all that in the back of your head. I'll put links for the products that I personally use with my patients and myself. Put the different tests that I like as well for looking at the gut, because we can also test steatocrit too, which is helpful. But sometimes that's not enough. You have to look at the patient clinically and try things and see how they feel as well.